Hi, it's Michelle, your favorite pharmacist. Someone the other day asked about alternatives to Aleve for inflammation. So today we're going to go through the aisle and talk about some medications that you can buy over the counter that can help with that. What's the difference? Which one might be best? Which ones to avoid? Which ones to pick out? So come on, we're going to go shopping. Okay, somebody asked in the comments of my last video for alternatives to Aleve for inflammation. So the first drug I want to point out is ibuprofen. Advil and Motrin are the same drug. They are both ibuprofen, unless you get one of the funky ones, but it's not time for a video on brand extension yet. So this is ibuprofen 200 milligrams in both products. It doesn't matter if you get a tablet, a capsule, a gel cap, a liquid, and the generic is fine. I'm just showing you brand name versions so that you can recognize them on the shelf. The names are a little bit easier to remember, and the generic packages usually will say compared to the active ingredient in Advil or Motrin. And aspirin is another over-the-counter anti-inflammatory. Most people don't really use this. It's kind of fallen out of favor. It still works, and it is in a lot of medications. Most people are used to taking 81 milligrams if their doctor feels that there's a reason for them to take daily aspirin therapy as a preventative. Not everyone would need that, so it's definitely something you want to talk to your doctor about. But aspirin is the other anti-inflammatory in addition to ibuprofen and naproxen that you can buy over the counter. And Aleve or naproxen is the drug someone originally asked for alternatives to. This is another over-the-counter NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, like the other drugs. And this is usually dosed twice a day. So for some people that's more convenient. Other people like being able to take the medication sooner if they feel like it's wearing off. But for a topical option, we have diclofenac. So this is the brand name Voltaren gel, and this is the same as what used to be prescription only. You can still get it with a prescription, but if there's a reason that you cannot take an NSAID or anti-inflammatory by mouth, maybe it caused stomach upset, a way around that can be doing a topical. So this is the only over-the-counter, and again, the generic is fine, just like pretty much everything else, but people are able to pronounce the brand name Voltaren, so that's why I'm showing you this one. But be aware that there are some other over-the-counter pain relieving creams that don't contain this ingredient. They are not going to be anti-inflammatory. I grabbed these other two over-the-counter pain relievers just to point out how they're different and they are not anti-inflammatories. So Advil, even though we talked earlier about Advil being an anti-inflammatory, the Advil topical is not anti-inflammatory. It says right on the box that it does not contain the same active ingredient in Advil. You can see it has camphor, capsaicin, menthol, methyl salicylate. These are not going to do anything for inflammation. These are basically circuit interrupters that get warm and cold and confuse the brain from the pain signals. They're not actually reducing your inflammation. And you can see that the Bengay has some similar ingredients, same thing. These are not anti-inflammatory, so I would not recommend these. Okay, and one thing while we're talking about anti-inflammatories, since this is usually in the aisle next to the anti-inflammatory drugs, I just want to point out that our friend Tylenol or acetaminophen is not an anti-inflammatory. It is a pain reliever. It does not work for inflammation. So Tylenol definitely serves a purpose. I use acetaminophen for certain things. Just a reminder, even though it's right next to those other drugs, Tylenol is not an anti-inflammatory drug. All right, guys, costume change. Apparently yesterday I took a photo, not a video. So we are now filming the next morning outside of my gym. I hope that was a good overview of some of the different anti-inflammatories that you're likely to find in your local grocery store, superstore, drugstore, and what the differences between them are. One might be best for you, or at least a good option to have on hand. When we talk about the anti-inflammatories that are taken orally, taken by mouth, all of those are really going to have the same risks and side effects. So stomach upset, bleeding risk, interactions with drugs like blood thinners, obviously, but certain supplements and antidepressants can also interact with them. So if you have any concerns or you think that that may apply to you, definitely talk to your healthcare provider or the pharmacist that helps you with all your medications. The way around that is to use the topical version, but that's not great for everyone either. Some people just can't reach the area to apply it. They might not be able to see well to use the dosing card to measure out the dose. They might not like how it feels on the skin, but at least you guys have some options and you know what to look for. That was a great video suggestion, so thank you for commenting that on the last video. If you guys have something that you want me to talk about or review, please leave it in the comments down below. I read those. Those are great ideas, and I love to answer your questions. So if there's something that you want me to cover, please put it in there. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. That really helps my channel. And until the next time, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.